Okay, so we are officially live on social media, and it is September 1st, Wednesday. We are Reflection Artists Live, episode number 43. Our special guest today is Dustin Jackson. He's out of Alabama. He has been in the industry and a shop owner for 10 years now, and a lot of you may know him for who he is and his shop, or a lot of you may know him for Detail Bookie, which it originated and he started it back in 2018. It's been on the market for about a year now. And so it's software that could help your business and yourself in regards to booking and services and all that, which he's going to get into. But we want to dive into, of course, and thank Dustin, of course, on being on Reflection Artists Live, but dive into how he got started in the detail industry and start there and kind of give us the backstory on that. And so I'll hand it over to you, Dustin. And again, I appreciate on behalf of Buff and China myself with you joining me today on the podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me. Looking forward to it. You know, we follow you guys. We buy products from you guys. When y'all shot the message out and asked, we were happy to participate. But yeah, I mean, when I got back in the detailing business in 2011, and it really started before that, I detailed my own stuff. I always kept my own stuff clean. I was really just anal about who touched my vehicles or boats or whatever. So, and I think there's a lot of stories that start like that. You know, we all kind of feel that passion. And so it evolved. I actually owned another software company coming in 2008, 9. Well, it started about 2006, but sold it off, took a break, and then kind of started back, built an office in a little storage facility and decided that I would offer detailing. I wasn't going to do it like on a big scale. It was more or less just to get me out of the house. And true to my personality, that didn't last long. Business started turning and I hired a guy to come in and help me. And me and him just ran that business for a few years on a small scale. But business was piling up and we looked at some larger property where we could grow that storage business. And we do boat and RV storage, like covered and uncovered storage. And
now, before you move forward, and not to interrupt, when you say small scale, what is a small scale to you, or how would you describe that?
So in detailing small scale, I mean, we were doing a few cars a day. We would do a boat a day or something. So we were averaging a few thousand, maybe $3,000, $4,000 a week at that time.
The size of your facility at the time?
Oh, it's small, 1 acre, 1 acre lot. So 1 acre lot, and we had storage, there, and it was just packed full. So we didn't have a whole lot of room. We had we had an office about the size of my office that I'm sitting in now was our whole company, Wow. And my wife was in there answering the phones and, making the schedules and stuff like that. So, it was really, a small operation, in the grand scheme of things, especially compared to the businesses that I had built and ran before. But it wasn't intended to. I really was doing it to, I needed a place to store my boat and camper, and I just kind of did it, and so quickly outgrew that. I mean, business just started catching on and people came by, and then we started doing more and more, and then schedule got backed up. We couldn't keep up with just myself and a helper. The facility wasn't big enough. So I went in and bought some property up the street. We're literally a block from where I started. I still own the property down there.
That's a reminder every day you drive by, right?
Oh, it's a reminder every day. And what the cool story about this is that everybody so I live in a small town, it's called Saraland. And everybody that passes by, I'm on a main road here, has seen my story. They've seen it start small. They see the little sign that we put up, details. Yeah. And now they see us in this 6.5 acre facility, and it's, buildings are all over it, and our detail shop's massive. And, and literally they follow our story along and can see the growth.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you kind of froze up. Yeah, so they can see what the growth, and now we're up here, and I think we have 12 full-time detailers, managers, lady that fills our chemicals and stuff in a chemical room. And also, it's a much different operation now as far as Easy In, which that's the name of our detailing and storage business.
So tell me some of, because I'm sure a lot of listeners want to hear, as far as, when you're going from that yourself and a helper kind of scenario, What's the growing pains that come with that that get you to that 12 employee manpower kind of business? I mean, because that's, I've experienced them, everybody has, but it's nice to always hear from every individual, especially because, your market that you mentioned, being where you're at in Alabama, every
It's,
market's different,
it's
but
small
it's
town.
similar struggles. But tell
Yeah.
me how you've kind of bobbed and weaved through that and everything, the challenges that you had with growing that.
Yeah. Well, just so you understand too, we have over 30 employees now under roof here, but 12 of them are full-time detailers. But, and that's listen, you said it just right when you say growing pains. And it's not easy and it's not for the faint of heart. But, I like to describe our growth as like a rubber band. And what we do is we stretch that rubber band as tight as we can get it right before it breaks with the current staff that we have. So when it was just me and a helper, we would do all that we could possibly do. And so the stress was then on the staff. And then when it's time to bring in someone, when you can't do any more, but you have more work than you can do, it's time to bring help in. And then the rubber band comes in. Well, now that stress is shifted from the labor force to the owner, because now the owner has to bring in more work to justify the added payroll. So so we try to stretch that back out. And so that's the best way. That's the best analogy that I've ever been able to give it, is that rubber band. So let's do all that we can do with the current staff at hand until you have more work than you can possibly do. And then it's time. A lot of people do projected scales. So they're like, we're going to go out and go after the business and then add to as we need it. We went under the approach as we waited into us until we needed it and then brought in help. Also, a quick to hire, quick to fire mentality. So, I don't, especially in my detailers, we do interviews and we do background checks, but listen, if you show interest in working and you can be here on time, we'll bring you in. We're not long drawn out hiring process, but it's short term too. And so if we know right away if you're going to fit in with our team, and if you can fit in with us, and if it doesn't work, then we're quick to just say, hey, this isn't a thing for us, and vice versa. We give them the same respect.
What's the average time frame you give? I personally give 90 days. What do you?
90 days. Yeah. That's a good, comfortable. Some happen sooner than that. If a guy gets in here and you can tell, and I tell them in the interview, I do all of our interviews, or I'm a part of all of our interviews, and I said, look, it's not personal. What we're going to do is we're going to determine if you like this and if I like you, if you're a fit. And these guys, and matter of fact, on every Friday when we have a new hire, I ask all the guys in the shop to take a vote. And he has to prove to his peers if he's going to stay or not. And it's a majority rules. So he has to earn his way, or he or she has to earn his way. By the way, I'm a huge fan of female detailers. We have a few of them out in our shop. And if I could fill it up with female detailers, I would. I think they're awesome. Yeah. I think they're great. And they've been wonderful for our shop. But yeah, so quick to hire, quick to fire. I'm not scared to bring somebody in, even if we don't have to have an extra help out there, because you just never know how good someone's going to work, and you don't want to miss that opportunity.
Now, previous experience, do you still bring them in with that previous experience, knowing there may be a conflict there?
No, we love some experience. It's not required. We hire really both ways.
Gotcha.
Guys with experience, you usually end up kind of retraining them a touch anyway on our process. Correct. So it helps some to know what a polisher is, to know what particular pads do what, but we're not. We're going to retrain you the way that Easy N does things anyway. But you do start out, as far as pay is concerned, if you have some experience where we're not having to completely start you from ground zero, it does help a little bit on pay.
Gotcha. And this is always a hot subject. That's why I dig into it. So, like I said, with 90 days and like you're doing, I look at it as three different terms. You have your first 30 days, you have your midterm 30 days, and you have your last 30 days before. But it's funny because and you may experience this, when guys come in, they are your A1. They're your number one guy. They're
gung ho, man.
All in. And then that first 30 days, they try to retain that, right? And then that second 30 days comes, and they start to show their true colors a little bit more. And then by that third term, That's when you know who the heck they really are.
That's who they really are over here. And you know, a lot of guys stick with it, and a lot of guys really keep that drive. But you know, detailing is a thing. It's a passion. You got to love it. I tell everyone that comes in here, I say, you got to love this job, or else you're really going to hate it. Because it's monotonous at times. You know, we do very large boats here. We do a ton of cars. We do a ton of vehicles, but we do a lot of really large boats. Matter of fact, I have a mobile unit that goes out and does 50-foot and larger vessels, so yachts. But when you're doing projects like these boats, they're monotonous. You're going to do, so you almost take the detail mindset out of it when you're polishing or you're sanding down a 40-foot hull, because you're really just doing the same thing. So you have to be able to kind of, I hate to say, you got to be able to handle the mind game of getting down it. And then it turns into the detail game. So it's a special person now. And in my car crew, of course, they're hyper detailed, hyper focused. I have an excellent car crew. I have an excellent crew, period. So I don't want to single one of them out, but our car crew is really strong, and they're really focused, and they're probably their like mentality could probably relate it more to other detailers out there. The boat detailers are, I mean, they get it done. You know, they're
you're polishing, you got to go. There's 40 more feet.
No. So what you just did was a kiss of death in marine detailing. It's like, if you're scared of heights, it's like looking down. You don't look down. What you're doing when you're polishing a boat is you don't do this. You're like, man, I gotta get out of here. But yeah, so it's good. We're right here on the Gulf Coast. So tons of marine detailing. We pretty much, I don't know if you know Drake's mobile detailing, but us and him are probably top tier marine detailing down here. We handle a ton of the business. So
very nice. Yeah. Now, you've always been into both marine and automotive, or did you start with one or the other?
No, so I started with both, but I was predominantly known in the marine world. Even though we had a shop, we would do cars, we would have more boats than cars. Matter of fact, it took years for me to establish a car crew that only did cars. Used to, what we would do is we'd stop working on a boat that we were doing and go do a car. But finally was able to build, and now it's about 60% boats, 40% automobiles. So, you know, but yeah, it did. We were known, we built our name in the marine world, and then have slowly but surely kind of, you know, pushed that over into the automobiles. And now, like I said, we're 60-40. So I felt like we've done a good job of bringing that full circle.
I can see that, because I have a local guy that's a friend of mine, detailer, part of the same network of detailers, but he's quite a few miles up the street. But I send him all my marine and RV. But that's the market that he thrives for. And don't get me wrong, he does it all. He does automotive as well, you know, and full service like we do with the coatings and correction and all that good stuff. So, but his investment of where I think he wants to be is more marine and RV, because that's what he specializes in, as to where with getting the cars in.
It's niche. You know, you figure out what you're great at. We were great at boats. I mean, we did cars fine, but it was just a complete different mindset, different tools. When I say mindset, it's a really different mindset. So, you know, but now that we developed our car crew, that's all they do. We've been able to really focus on that and be great at it too. But there was a time where I was sending some of our cars down to another shop because we had so many boats. I mean, we would be backed up. We still get backed up for months in the springtime on boats. As many big of a crew as we have, we still get backed up months. But years prior, before we had as big of a team, we would be backed up, you know, 6 or 8 months. And so we didn't even have time to mess with the cars. We would just send them off to another shop down the street. I have great relationships with all the guys that detail in our local area. I've made a really strong effort to keep everybody, you know, friendly competition. We don't even consider each other. I mean, of course, we're in the same industry, but we're not a competition. I hold Rupes comes out once a year and does a training thing up here at my shop, and I invite everybody here. I buy them, you know, all the local detailers, buy them lunch and stuff, and let them come out and experience that. And you know, we're all in this stuff together.
True, but on the hindsight of it too, when you're the only Walmart in town and everybody else is a mom and pop grocery store, it doesn't even have to be said. It's just there, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't put that in a disrespectful way. I mean it more of like, I mean, you've got a larger property, a larger facility. You're able to get more throughput with all different levels of work, you become the local source and the main hub for the detail community in your market.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And these guys, you know, we all kind of joke around about it. And, you know, they're always giving digs. Well, Easy In just brings them all in, you know, but, you know, it's just, it is. The reality of it is we're a bigger shop, a bigger operation and can do, well, we, you know, I call it consume. We do consume more work, you know, in order to drive this train, we have to keep filling the top of the funnel, and it takes that amount of work to get, you know, to pay the bills.
Yeah. Now, do you cross train your detailers to handle both sides, both marine and automotive, or do you keep them separated?
So yes, we do, but I don't let, so my car crew works on boats here and there just to get the feel for it in case we ever had to move one or the other. But we really let them hyper focus on where they're at. We don't just move crews back and forth for fun. But we do cross train some. We just stepped off into the aviation realm. We had Ron St. Clair come in from IGL Coatings and do an aviation training. And so we ended up training 4 of our crew. And I wanted them to experience, you know, the training of it. And then I'm going to kind of move that training on along the shop. So that way everybody knows at least a piece of it. So if you got put on that crew for the day, you could hold your own. We're not expecting you to know it all, the ins and outs, but at least be an assistant to the lead detailer there.
Very nice. I like how you do that.
Yeah.
Now, as far as services go, obviously with marine and automotive, what else within your business are you offering service wise?
So we just do coatings, correction coatings. We don't do PPF. We looked at Lumar. They've kind of came in a few times and wanted us to talk to them about PPF, and we haven't, you know, ruled it out. But right now we want to focus on those. But we do industrial. We do recreational vehicles, motorcycles. Like I said, we're adding aviation. We've done a few planes, and marine and auto, obviously. But yeah, we're just correction and coatings. We don't do tint. We don't do dent removal, PPF. One thing that we do differently, we just got a job today, it made me think of it, was we do bottom paint on boats. So I have a boat lift here and we pick up boats off the trailer and we'll do bottom paint. And so I was literally leaving a meeting a while ago with a customer that we're going to do a bottom job, is what we call them, on his boat. And as I was leaving, I was like, you know, for a shop that says we don't do anything but detail, for us to do those bottom jobs like that, I think that's a little bit out of the detail realm. So different service, you know, but something that we offer.
I mean, if you've got the demand for it, why not, right? And if it's the wheelhouse of some of the things you're similar to, I mean, you're bringing in the boat, you're able to move them, you're able to lift them.
Correct. Yeah. And while we're there, I mean, that's literally how we sold this one. We had barnacles on the bottom. We were going to end up removing the barnacles, and the bottom paint was just getting old. And, you know, hey, while we're here, we can sand that paint off, and literally it's tape a line and roll paint. It's not like it's a spray. I mean, it's a very easy application. And so while we're there, we're able to save this guy some money from having to go get it pulled somewhere else and take it off and do it again. So that's kind of what we've been doing bottom jobs for about 4 years now. So.
Very nice. Very interesting. Very cool. Now, you said, I think you mentioned earlier, you do have a retail storefront?
We do. So we actually sell outdoor apparel. We have 6,000 square feet of retail space where we sell T-shirts and we're known for our hats. We have over 1,000 hats here at all times. They're local brands, just really cool custom, all different kind of hats. I don't know if you know AFCO. So a lot of detailers have never heard of AFCO, but it's a large brand in the fishing industry. And so they're really good pants. And they're really good shorts, actually. They said they make pants and stuff, but they're known for their AFCO shorts. And that's what all of my detailers wear, but we sell tons of them out in our retail store. We sell some products. Matter of fact, we sell some polishing pads from you guys. And but we're known out in our retail store for our apparel.
That's interesting. That's a good way to kind of diversify in regards to the streams of revenue. So everything. Yeah.
Story behind that is we bought the facility here. We bought this property and it had this huge. This was a lumber yard. Okay, and so there was this huge retail store where they sold like their nails and their hardware and stuff like that. Well, that was gone, and so I had this huge building that I had to do something with. And I needed my wife out of my hair a little bit. So, I mean, like she wanted to do retail. We took and picked a corner of the store. I mean, like you know, 800 square feet of and she put some t-shirts there, you know, and it just like, there you go. And if she's watching this, she'll probably kill me, but anyway, so, and it just took off. It really did. I mean, she really had the knack for picking stuff, and she's got a lot more style than I do. So you know, she does that. And now she's actually kind of shelved that over to her sister-in-law that works for me and does all of our purchasing. And my wife raises the kids. She works at home. So
very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Awesome. So aside, so you got the storefront with the retail on the apparel for the most part. Now you have all these different, you know, do you get a lot of motorcycles in that area?
Oh, we do. I mean, they're kind of streaky in the spring. They come out in the spring, you know, or in the fall. We'll have a few. I think we have a couple on schedule this week. We'll coat them, polish and coat them. We do, you know, motorcycles are probably unique. There's my wife peeking her head around here right now. But yeah, so we do motorcycles. We do all kind of stuff around here. Also, I mentioned the storage facility that we have.
Oh, that's right.
And yeah, it's boats and campers. We have covered and uncovered. So around my lot's about 150 boats and campers.
Oh, wow.
And yep. So, and you know, we just kind of one thing helps add to the next. And I'll tell you what, behind the business model was the thought. Here was my initial thought years ago. If I'm storing these items here, these guys are going to want them cleaned up. Okay. Like they're going to want them after they want them cleaned up after they use, because I know how I am. I wanted my stuff cleaned after I used it or before I was going to take it out. But I'll be honest with you, the storage customers, for some reason, don't use our services near as much as what I would have originally thought. We only detail about 30% of what our storage customers store here, but we built the business to bring, you know, from around the community, bring it in. So it sounds great. It sounded really, really good in theory, but storage customers really just drop their stuff off and they don't want to think about it till they're going to use it again. And it doesn't, you know, we don't get a whole lot of, but we get some, but not a whole lot.
So aside from just storing it away and taking it out when it's ready, there's not much obligation you have?
Nothing. We move them around. We have lifts, forklift around here. We'll pull them out and, you know, have them ready to go kind of thing. Just, you know, shoot some air in the tires maybe or something. But outside of that, yeah, it's a pretty good business to be in because you don't really have to mess with it that much.
I know a couple of guys around the country that have for automotive, where they have a big enough facility where they have enough, you know, 4-post jacks to store vehicles
to lift them and store them. Yeah, stack them in there. And I imagine there's more detail work with that type of customer than mine. I mean, mine are big campers and boats, and you know, really these guys, I mean, they only use them a few times a year. I mean, most of the time my lot's full, just because it sits most of the time. It's really kind of, it would blow your mind to think like that there's this much stuff that never gets used.
That would be interesting to ask some of the ones that have some of those facilities for just strictly automotive to see if there's a similar, where it's like 30% they want it, the other they just want to store it.
Correct. Exactly.
I could see that, or some may have a better, you know, better percentage than others, but I either way, I mean, it's still additional revenue. So the total idea.
It is. Yeah. And business wise, it helps cover the overhead. You know, that's the best way to look at it. So.
Wow. So I take it that's been an ongoing and growing thing since you moved from the smaller to the larger facility. That is just now just at a point where you've got it all dialed in.
It's yes, absolutely. And that's the best way to describe it, because when we first bought this facility here at 6.5 acres, we basically put every dime we had to buy the property, right? And we done it right in the middle. It was like June or May. And so it was into spring going into summer. Well, it's a storage facility, and I expected we had 30 or 40 items stored at this other, you know, at my other location to bring up here, but I had room for 100 plus 150 vehicles. And I just assumed that we were going to fill it up due to the way the phones would ring. Well, people don't need their stuff stored a lot during the summer. And so those first few months, I'm looking around this property and like, I'm walking the property and I'm going, oh my gosh, like, have we messed up? You know, have we bit off more than we can chew? And just like every other entrepreneurial stress, you know, the roller coaster that we ride. Well, that was the first dip of many dips. And
there's your motivation.
Right. And you had to figure it out. So, but you know, it didn't take what I can look back on it. What didn't seem long after that, you know, go into fall, this place filled up. And then the storage has been kind of ongoing. And then detail, you ride the same wave, spring and summer are great. You go into the fall and the winter, and it falls all pretty strong. And I always, before the term flattening the curve meant something else as far as the pandemic's concerned, I always called it flattening the curve. So when we come out of, spring and summer and go into the winter where it drops down, we try to level that off. And so we've worked really hard to fill that schedule up deeper into October, November, December, as far as detail is concerned, to help generate that revenue during those months.
Now, I don't know, Alabama, do you get snow? Do you get?
No, not really.
Not really?
If we get snow in Mobile, it shuts the town down. So, it's happened like once or twice since I've lived here.
And I asked because of that slow point that you usually describe in the wintertime is most of the northern states that get the snow.
Yeah, it's totally different. Yeah, for us, we work year round. We may have a day or two where it gets below freezing, where we have to cover the pipes or leave the water running in the shop or something. But I mean, we don't have the problems that the snow, up north does as far as snow. So I'm sure some people don't want to hear that mess. They really have a slow season.
Same here. There might be a day or two where I got to put some pants on to come to work.
All right.
Just shorts.
Exactly. And probably those pants, you're peeling them off by lunchtime or so, it's done warmed up. So that's the way it is here. We really have it, we're blessed to have good weather year round for the most part, at least workable weather.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
So with everything you have established, I mean, I'm sure you got a lot on your plate. So at what point, I mean, I know you started working, you said in 2018 on this program and software for Detail Bookie for yourself. Explain to me how that came about and how you put that into play for being open to consumers.
Absolutely. Well, that's an easy story. And I'm glad that we had to ad lib and I'm not in my podcast area, because you can look behind me and see a whiteboard. And if you look close, you see these little clips up here.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, this board's about 14 feet long that way. And in my office, this is where I'm sitting now, was these boards of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And all those little clips held paper tickets. And those paper tickets represented detail jobs. And so you got to picture this as we would have all these boats sitting on my lot, and people would come up and we'd write a paper ticket. We'd give them an estimate, here's what it's going to cost. Here's what we're doing. We would pin it to the wall. And once we had a week full, then we go right over here to these shelves and we'd start stacking up. And that's our backlog. So now we have all these boats on my property, 40 and 50 extra boats that aren't storage, people waiting for details. So my staff full time answering the phones, trying to figure out when we're going to get the boat done. What are we doing to a boat? And I always tell this story because it's the best story to tell. Is we had 4 blue sea hunts, dark blue sea hunts on my lot at one time. Well, on these paper tickets, there was nothing to distinguish which sea hunt was which except for a name. And so I grab a ticket. We're doing a blue sea hunt today. Go out there and there's 4 of them that are identical. And I'm like, well, okay. And then you got to call the owner. They've been waiting weeks to get this boat detailed. And now you got to say, hey, how can I figure out which one of these boats is yours? Like we're going through registration and stuff. And so I'm like, man, something's got to give. Like this puts us in a bad position with our customers. We do great detail work, but we weren't running our business very well. And I took that personal because I was running the business,
You have to,
and so I made a commitment. I looked into other apps, other softwares that were available at that time, which
You're doing nothing digital?
Nothing. No. We tried Google calendars. We tried the Facebook scheduler.
Some of the basic stuff, but it just wasn't
the basic stuff that everybody does. Square app, I think was really new at that point. It may have been late 17, but like URO-WOOL and RoadFS and all them, they weren't even, URO-WOOL wasn't there yet. And there was a few of them. RoadFS was just kind of getting in, and we weren't really where we wanted to be on that. So I just made a commitment to build what we needed. We were really specific about what we needed. And so, I respect all those other software companies. We're all friends. So
I remember at SDC, you gave a nice
absolutely. And listen, so, I have nothing but great things to say about all of them. But where we were in time, a lot of them didn't exist. RoadFS was there, but it just wasn't exactly what we needed. So we went in and built, and I built with the intention of not taking it to market, not selling it to other detailers. At least I told that to my team. That was my I think deep down, I probably knew if it turned out great that we would do something with it. But we built it, and it took us a year to build it, and a year to get it built and start using it. But it's immediately when I started using it and started being able to put, pricing in all of my packages, all of my pricing, that freed me up, because at that time I was the only one that could give pricing out here in the yard on any boats or cars, because it was all in my head. We had papers, were kind of starting at prices, but Dustin was the one that had to give all the prices. So if Dustin needed a day off, or Dustin, which that didn't happen, but if Dustin, was not here for whatever reason, then that job couldn't get priced right then. So then, exactly. So you can't build that way. If I'm the
consultations, if we're not on the property.
Correct. And if I'm the only person that can do something, then I'm the only person that's going to do that something forever. So you got to be able to pass that along. And the software allowed me to do that. It allowed me to let my sales team go out and give prices based on the conditions and the size of the vehicles that they put in. So now our pricing is a menu for anybody that goes in there to see it. And this was version 1, by the way. This was not available to any other detailers. We did it just for us. And then of course you had the schedule, you had the notifications that we would. So now our customers got, used to like constant communication on what's going on. And now we were able to take the boats that would normally be sitting here, because we couldn't tell them when we were going to get to them, and only take 1 week's worth of work at a time, and tell the other ones, hey, you're on schedule for 3 weeks from now. Bring it then. Because we knew, we were organized. It made us run the business like we were running the detail shop. Very organized, like a machine. And so it's I knew instantly that we were onto something big. And it doesn't, you don't just flip a switch and okay, well, everything's great and it's computer software, and it took us a year to iron out the details to get everything fine-tuned. And then after I saw what it could do for my business, I made the commitment in 2019 to rebuild it, to take it to other detailers and say, hey, I don't want to keep this. It's done such great work for my business. I really want to see it help everybody else. One approach that I took differently as far as Detail Bookie is concerned is it's package pricing, and it's based on vehicle size. So one of the issues in our industry is pricing. It's a well-known fact that everybody struggles with that at times. And it varies from state to state, market to market. But one thing that doesn't change is the size of the vehicle from state to state, market to market. And the one thing that affects your pricing is the size of the vehicle. You got condition and you got size. Outside of that, it's an Escalade's an Escalade. Okay. Yeah. It's either a dirty Escalade or it's a clean Escalade, but it's the same size. Yeah. Okay. So we built that sizing model into our system that would allow you to put packages and pricing based on size. So if a customer is picking out, or if me as the detailer is pricing a job, I select that. Now my price comes up specifically for that vehicle size with all the things that I'm going to do to it. And that's allowed us to help detailers fine tune their pricing without saying, oh, you're going to have to go in here and type in all your services and figure all this out on your own. The system is built to walk you through that and help you understand your pricing, because all of our pricing is different. My cost to run my business is different than your cost, but the things that aren't different are the size and the conditions of the vehicles. And if we can eliminate those two, then everybody can put the right pricing in. So.
No, it's funny because I kind of, have developed what, a lot of the guys within like the Detail Mafia and other groups that I'm part of that have seen my price guide. It's been a living document since 2010. Absolutely. 2009, I started it with the standard, small, medium, large vehicles like everybody does. Yeah. And 2008, 2009, that's where I was. And then it went from cars to crossovers with 4 categories, trucks and then SUVs. And then those 4 categories, there became subcategories underneath that for the size of the car.
That's right.
2-door large, 4-door, sedan, all of that, getting into that. And I dialed that in. Now I have a 23 car size lineup, 4 categories, but the subcategories make up for it.
That's right.
And so with the pricing, is this something too, where they're able to have, like, for example, with me, the price I give for that size vehicle is for a new to like new. So anything in additional condition is an additional price. There's no going backwards.
No, right. So yeah, it starts as good condition, and then you can add-ons are available to increase the price based on condition. So extra dirty fee, extra pet hair fee, you know, if basically, and the way I set our packages up is the time between your last detail. So like my express detail or my maintenance detail, if it hasn't been done within 30 days, this package isn't applicable to you anyway. So you got to go up to our elite package. If you haven't had a detail in 6 months, then you're not applicable there. You go to our full. And that's how we determine that. And then the conditions affect the price within that range. So, and all this, by the way, is built into the system. So a detailer that starts, whether they've been in business for 20 years or 2 months, when they start with Detail Bookie, they get uploaded with presets of all this stuff that's in there. And then they can just tweak it to fit their pricing, or take, you know, if they call it two bucket method rather than foam bath, they can quickly change one service name in there and it changes it throughout the whole system to match what they have in their marketing and what they call it every day, what their customers are used to hearing. But yeah, same concept. You don't have to give these price ranges or these pricing starting ats anymore, because we've eliminated all that. The reason that we have to do that before is because we would have vehicle ranges, the size range, a medium truck. Like, okay, well, you know, like, how do I know if I'm a customer? I don't know what a medium truck is.
Yeah.
I mean,
we only know their truck or previous vehicles they've owned. They don't see the amount of vehicles we see.
Correct. So okay, I got a Chevy 2500. Boom, that's going to be my starting at price based on the conditions that I'm putting in. By the way, we asked them the conditions. Here's one of the things that I was able to, I think, prove wrong to myself and everybody else, was thinking that, okay, well, customers are going to lie. So if we offer online booking, they're going to say, oh, my vehicle's not that bad. Well, they do during a text. They always say, oh, mine's not that bad. Just needs a buff and wax. Okay.
Yeah.
We all hear it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about online shopping for them. They have, so when they're on there, they have to lie to themselves. They're not lying to you. So if they click a button and say, okay, my vehicle was detailed in the last 6 months, they have to physically tell us that, you know, lie to themselves if they click that button. And now they know that they're already wrong. So when they come in and their vehicle's trash, you say, okay, we see you pick this package. Really, it's going to be this one right here. They're like, yeah, I saw that. I thought it could go either way. No problem. It's a much better conversation than over a text. Well, it just needs a buff and wax. Okay, well, our enhancement is this, or our one step, you know, whatever.
Text and email. Some people are successful at it. It sucks trying to run a business through text and email for me.
I can't do it. I would never do it. The first thing that we're coached up on is get a phone number. Get them on the phone. If they can't go through online booking,
or in front of me.
Get them in front of me is even better. Better. The text, the email, that back and forth. I see, you know, and I'm careful to say this because I know a lot of detailers use it this way, and I know there's a lot of good companies that promote this type of service, but on their websites they have a form, a contact form. So now I got to reach back out to this, you know, this person, and so now you basically built me a list of phone calls that I got to do after hours. Our system at least gets the tire kickers out of there. So if we're sending them over to our booking site, they select their vehicle, they select the conditions, they see our pricing available for that vehicle and those conditions, and then they also see add-ons available. They already at least have an understanding of what you're going to charge, and they eliminate themselves if they're not really interested. So, you know, like I said, it doesn't matter what kind of software you have. If you're running a detailing business, you need something. It helps our industry. It helps professionalize our industry. It helps take us that next level. So as we're starting to explain what we do, we're not just the car wash guy, you know, and we can charge these professional prices. So you know, my thoughts are, if you don't have something, you need something. But our system is built to specifically to run a detailing business. It runs one every day. And not to brag or be boastful, but one that does over $1 million a year in detail. Okay. So if it can run mine, it can definitely run others.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing is, it's like software is like chemicals, right? There's no one fits all kind of thing.
Absolutely.
So you've got to figure out which one's going to be a fit for you. And if somebody is introducing another approach that is a better fit for you, then that's just what it comes down to. But all in that category are helping the detailers become more successful. That's the end result.
That's exactly right. I mean, it's what it's doing for our industry is, I can't tell you how great it is. I mean, it's nice to have conversations with people and they are able to compare apples to apples, because now we have those things to compare them with, instead of saying, well, you know, I really just have to see every vehicle and do estimates only. and stuff. So, you know, it's, I'm sorry. It's,
Okay.
it's great for our industry.
Yeah, and that is, don't get me wrong, some people are just stuck in their ways, right? You can't get them to go digital.
Look, you're preaching to the choir.
They still got the carbon copy, old school, buy it from Staples or wherever they're getting it from, Amazon maybe, and writing out the ticket, keeping one copy, giving the other copy. You know, and hopefully it makes it the bookkeeping if it doesn't get lost somewhere.
Oh, and if it's cash, it's definitely not going to bookkeeping.
But no, that's awesome, because I feel like, you know, the system like that, in working with other systems myself, you know, it is, what you have is unique, because, you know, they all have their claim to fame, and the way that they have their approach is very great. But you have taken a unique approach in breaking it down into the vehicle size, and it will set a lot of these guys up for success, because with all the traveling and trainings and everything that I've been part of, thankfully, I've talked to detailers, and the biggest thing that they're clueless on is pricing. And service structure. How the hell do I price this service for the structure of what I'm doing, and vice versa? And it's like, and some of them, they just are so overwhelmed. They just don't get it. They don't understand where their time is going. They're not getting paid for their time. So being able to set them up for success right out the gate like this, and then that's the other thing, is then they need to find their market value, right? Where they're at in business, what their market is able to sustain, you know. And some you could go a little bit above market, and that's the other thing I'm sure you understand, is that just because you're in a small market doesn't mean you have to have small rates.
No, we're on the higher side. We're above market rate, just because, and we do that because we're so full. Like, we have so much scheduled out that we don't need to be doing 100% of the jobs that call in for an estimate, because we don't have this time or the staff or the facility to do it. Not to mention that helps the economy, that spreads the love around here. So we are on the higher side of that. And one thing that, you know, as far as software, and this isn't a sales pitch, by the way, I'm not our salesman for our software. I just use it every day. And I just
use it, help develop it, but not a salesman.
Yeah, I might make a little money off of it, but no, I'm just kidding. But listen, it's, you know, it really helps take out some of those variables that when you talk about, well, how do I price these, or how do I know? It takes out some of those variables that you have to think about. And it says, okay, what would you charge for this? And then if you give them all that, then they say, okay, yeah, I can do that in about 2 hours or 3 hours. And here's my cost for those 2 or 3 hours. I'm gonna put that amount in there. And now they're confident. Now they know what they're gonna do. And now and when the customer sees it, it's confident. It's not, you know what?
Shooting from the hip.
Right. And now it's not negotiable, because you don't negotiate with Walmart because they give you a receipt. They give you a price tag, right? And the reason you don't go in there and say, I'll give you $20, because they didn't shoot from the hip when you got to the register. There's the price tag, take it or leave it. Same concept. And this works with all softwares. You're getting an invoice with a list of services. And anytime our famous quote around here is, anytime somebody wants to pay less, is, what do you want us to not do? You take it off you control what we're doing to your vehicle. This is what needs to be done. If you want it cheaper, what should we not do? And that always turns that around and say, you know what, you guys got it, you know, go ahead. And so we're empowering the detailers to deliver these prices with confidence, and their customers to feel good about it. So, you know, and then we're here for them too. Look, so I made myself available. Every one of our customers has my phone number. They all have access in our MVP group too. So we're here to help. And that's with whether you're using our software or not. We're just here to help the industry and hopefully grow this thing good for all of us.
Well, the plus side is you're part of, you know, you're an active operator.
Absolutely.
You know, you're involved at the same level in the same playing field, that no matter how big or small, you're still in that arena. So
Absolutely.
the fact that you're able to also produce this from a user standpoint, an operator standpoint, gives you a little edge, I think, in regards to what other software companies have. And I'm not taking away from any of it, because I'm like you. I love them all. I'm friends with all of them. Yep. They all do great, and they all know that I love them.
They all have their place, and I truly believe that.
But do they have 10 years of operating a detail shop?
Right. No,
that's the thing, you know, and that's what gives you the edge to be able to not sell it, but have where maybe the consumer or the detailer has more confidence with your stuff, because they know you developed it from an operator standpoint.
That's right. And continue to test it every day. So there's no better test than just repeatedly day after day after day. My shop is, using the software along with hundreds of other detailers, but our shops, I mean, it's testing it at a more rapid pace. We're putting it to the test every day, and if things come up, we're quick to fix them. That I have development team that works full time, so like we're on it.
Yeah, and like to your point either, and again, not bragging, but your revenue reflects on that.
Yeah.
And if you're able to trust a dollar amount with that kind of software,
yeah,
that speaks in volume.
It does. It really does. And, and like I said, it's been fun. The only reason that we've gotten to where we are is because of the software. Had there been something that existed like this, I would not have built. I didn't wake up one morning and want to put all that money up and do it. I just needed something that would help us grow and help us run the business like we wanted to, build. That we were doing such great detail work. I wanted our business to match that and our customer communication to match that and our pricing. And instead we were just lacking in that department. So we just had to fix the problem.
Now, are you going into, does your program, I should say, offer an inventory approach as well for retail?
So we will have an inventory for like chemical usage and stuff. That's a feature set that we're going to put together. Here's my thoughts on that. And this is why I pushed that for so long, is I think that it's a thing that sounds really good to detailers, but do they use it? If I'm a single shop owner, if I'm a guy running a van, truck by myself, or maybe me and a helper, am I at the end of the day measuring chemicals or putting in, my usage? Am I actually doing that? Or is this one of these features that I'm going to build out that you're going to go up, looks great, you're going to start it, and then 6 months later, you're like, man, I don't use that. I order it when I need it. I believe there's value. And let me tell you how much I believe there's value. I literally pay a girl full time. She's awesome, by the way, and to be in our chemical room, and she fills our chemicals and weighs them every day. We do an inventory on our stuff. Like, she fills all the carts, the road crews, everything every single day. And we know exactly what everybody's using, down to the plastic razor, down to the magic eraser, down to the ceramic coatings, everything. So 100% there's value in inventory on chemical usage and reordering. But I pushed that feature set coming out a little bit down because I don't believe that it's needed right this second for my detailers. I think there's more important things that will help them operate cleaner and leaner before inventory is needed. Yeah, that's just my personal approach to it. I know that there's detailers out there.
Baby, you're driving the ship, right? So it's and it's a thing that you develop. So I mean, you're developing based on your vision, not and plus other people giving you what they feel needs to be added to it, but it's still your vision at the end of the day. So if they like it, great. If they don't.
Yeah. And so just to be honest, like in our MVP group, we take a poll. We did our next set of 5 features, and we run it out into a poll, and they vote on those 5. Top one comes up. That's the first one we work on. Second one, third one, fourth one, so forth. So we're building the software for our customers' needs. But we have hundreds of features that have been thought of over years of meetings that we, keep in our feature train. And so we just kind of bring them up as we feel that fits the best, roadmap for the software.
I like that. That's very cool. That's very cool. Keeps everything innovative and relevant.
Oh, it does. You have to, man. You got to stay, listen, there's, the business and the industry is changing every day. Things are evolving. Software is evolving, and we have to stay current, man. We have to make sure that we have a great product out there that's really going to help these guys and going to make them, going to put money in their pockets at the end of the day.
Bingo. So, with everything you have going on in the software side of it, is there anything new that you want to touch on that you might be bringing to the table with the software that's exciting? I know that we have SEMA coming up. There's a lot of hearsay about who's going, who's not going, but let's just say if SEMA was happening 110% and you were going, is there anything new you would produce? Or are you going to hold off until that time frame?
Yeah, we have a big announcement coming. Okay. I don't want to give it away right now. It will come out SEMA time, but we have a huge announcement coming. So, and look, we talk about on my podcast, we've been talking about the SEMA thing for a few weeks, just trying to get the feel for who's going and who's not. And I know that IGL Joel LaPalm just made a post and said that those guys were probably going to pull out this year. I don't know if you've seen it. And I hate it. We had actually made the decision about a month ago to not go. We were going to go participate, but we're not going to set up our booth and all, just because of the restrictions and stuff. Not really the mask, but just I felt like participation was going to be down, and Detail's already the little stepbrother in the show.
Yeah.
And so
we got our corner.
You're right. So if you shrink that down even more, I had my concerns about the investment. How much money was I going to spend, and how much was I going to get out of it? And if I decrease exposure, am I doing the right thing for our team and business? And so again, it's really not as political or that as it sounds. It's really just a number. It's a numbers game.
The ROI.
If you that's it. And if you take away the number of, if you minimize the participants, and then, and I have my doubts of, I hope they keep on going with it for the show's sake. But I don't know if that they'll be able to. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But I'm looking forward to a great 2022. So Detail Bookie will be there in full swing. We'll be at MTE Orlando. We wanted to go. We were in last year. Of course, it got canceled. We were at SDC. We were at MTE in 18 and 19, I believe. And we were at SEMA in 19 too. So yeah, we support these shows. We would be there with bells and whistles on under any other circumstance. It just, doesn't really add up on our end.
Well, it's good that you have, some exciting news that's going to come down the pipeline, whether or announced with everything you do naturally. So
yeah, just because we're not going, man, we're going to be celebrating and stuff. But we actually did SEMA live, which I don't know if y'all were participated in the SEMA 360 or SEMA.
Yeah.
And we struggled with that one. That was I don't know.
That was unique.
Yeah, that's a good word for it. But we're going to have big announcement. We're going to have cool stuff hitting the ground. We're going to pump it up just like if we were going. So the guys that go, we'll still have things that are going on and virtual type stuff that they can participate in. So without giving it all away, there will be things going on that's going to be a lot of fun during that time.
Very cool. Very cool. So outside of that, we are coming up on time, Dustin.
Okay.
So a couple things. Last words of advice for, detailers, business owners, anybody in general with, you've carved out a really good thing for yourself. What can you give back in regards to advice for the guys listening?
Keep going. Listen, it's a ride for all of us. It sounds easy to sit here and go, oh, well, you do this much of money in detail a year. You got these businesses going on, but look, we face the same battles every day. And so the entrepreneurial roller coaster never ends. I started when I was 14 years old. I had my first business license right there somewhere. And I was 14 years old. I owned a paintball field. And so I was born with this. I don't have a choice in the business owning world. It's just who I am. But we all face the same battles. We all go through those times where you don't think you have any of it figured out and you don't know what you're doing. And people are going to drive you crazy, customers, employees, whoever it may be. Just know that the sun's going to come up tomorrow and you're going to figure out a way that, and things do get better over time. You just stay with it. Wake up every morning, put the smile on, I always tell us like eat the shit sandwich. You got a bad customer, just deal with it. Yeah. Deal with it. Don't you swallow your pride, deal with it, get it behind you and move on to the next 100 great customers. Don't let one kill you. Don't let one just ruin your day and time, because it's going to happen. You're going to deal with the customer that knew he wasn't going to be happy when he knew he wasn't going to be happy when he dropped off. So there's no way you could have pleased him or her. So that's not, that's probably it, man. Just keep grinding. We all go through the same problems,
Very cool. I like it. So basically, he's got a large facility, and if you show up at Easy End Detail and unannounced, expect to get hit with a paintball.
All right. Hey, funny story.
There's a lot of hiding spots, from what I understand.
There's a lot of hiding spots. I don't think customers would like that, though. We did take the staff. I'm known for our staff appreciation thing. So we did take them paintballing a few months ago, and that was a blast from the past because I hadn't played in 20 years. When I stopped and got out of the business, I was done completely. But we are known for our staff parties. We did a tubing trip 2 weekends ago, and I take everybody in a Greyhound bus and we go tube down the river, and it's fun. We work hard, we play hard, and that's kind of our motto. So it's cool.
That is awesome. Now, as far as people being able to get a hold of you for both sides of it, both Easy End and of course Detail Bookie, if you could put some plugs out there.
Absolutely. You can find us on any social media outlet: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter. I don't know. I think we're even on what's it called? What's the new thing? Not Snapchat, but what's the new one? Mel, with the little
OnlyFans.
Well,
I'm just joking.
OnlyFans. Listen, okay, I know we're running out of time, but quick OnlyFans story is my. So I was talking about TikTok, but my wife owns a group, or she's starting a group fitness business, and the ongoing joke on our podcast is it's a virtual group fitness, and it's going to be put on OnlyFans. So me and Ryan, the guy, my sales manager, we were cracking up about this OnlyFans thing, and she's sitting over here shaking her head. So anyways, not OnlyFans, but yeah, you can find us. You look us up at EasyN or Detail Bookie. We'll pop right up in Google search, but YouTube, Facebook, all the social media outlets. We're easy to find. I'm easy to get in touch with. You can find my personal Facebook page, Dustin Jackson. Shoot me a message. I love this. I do this every day. I'm happy to talk to anybody about anything as far as business or detail or software or whatever. So yeah, that's where you find us.
Very cool, Dustin. Man, I love the story.
Thank you.
Especially again, being you're an operator and you've got the background of building a business on top of bringing something new to the industry that's unique and helpful for all the detailers coming in. That's totally awesome. So I just want to say kudos to you and everything you're doing.
Well, thank you. You guys have been awesome to us. Love what you're doing too. And man, I appreciate the partnership that we've been able to form with Buff and Shine, and you guys are absolutely awesome. Thanks for having me on your show too, man.
I appreciate you being on as well. And again, everybody at home or on the road or wherever it is you may be, thank you for listening. This is Reflection Artist Live. It's episode number 43 with Dustin Jackson from Detail Bookie and EasyN Detailing in Alabama. You've got all the information if you want to reach out to him. He has a wealth of knowledge and his background in building his business, and of course with his software as well to help you be more successful. So again, everybody, thank you on behalf of Buff and Shine. And of course, you know where to find all of our podcasts and any of the podcast platforms. We upload on YouTube and of course our Facebook page, Reflection Artist. So thank you guys. And Dustin, thank you again and have a great day, man.
All right. Thanks a lot, buddy. Good seeing you, Justin.
Right, take care.